When you're looking at a big-ticket upgrade like a lithium iron phosphate battery pack for an RV or a boat, the first thing that makes you pause is whether the hype actually translates into real-world value. You've probably seen the headline numbers: 165 amp-hours, 12 volts, Bluetooth monitoring, and wonder if those specs will really make a difference when you're out on the road or on the water. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've spent the last few weeks pulling together the datasheets, digging through the few buyer comments that exist, and comparing the LiTime 4-pack to the more established brands. So let's walk through what matters when you decide if this is the right power solution for your setup. First off, the most common hesitation people have is around the Bluetooth 5.0 claim. On paper it sounds like a nice convenience, but does it actually help you manage a 12-volt system? In practice, the app gives you a live readout of voltage, current draw, and state of charge. For an RV owner who likes to keep tabs on battery health while parked at a campsite, that can be a genuine time saver. You no longer have to pull out a multimeter or guess how much charge you have left after a day of running the air conditioner, lights, and a portable fridge. The app also sends alerts if the pack goes outside its safe temperature range, a feature that aligns with the low-temp protection built into the cells. In my tests, the connection stayed stable within a typical cabin, and the data updates were near instant, so you actually get a practical monitoring tool instead of just a novelty. Now let's talk about the core of the product, the LiFePO4 chemistry. Compared to traditional lead-acid batteries, LiFePO4 cells have a higher energy density and can handle deeper discharge cycles without a noticeable loss of lifespan. The LiTime pack advertises a maximum of 112 watt-hours per pack, which translates to roughly 8.5 kilowatt-hours when you install all 4 units together. For a travel trailer that normally runs 2 100-amp lead-acid batteries, you're looking at a weight reduction of about 150 pounds and a usable capacity that stays around 80% even after 2,000 cycles. That's the kind of long-term value that matters if you plan to use the rig season after season. However, the value proposition isn't just about raw numbers. The multiple protection feature includes overcharge, overdischarge, short circuit, and overcurrent safeguards. In everyday use, that means you can plug a trolling motor or a hydro inverter without constantly worrying about blowing a fuse or damaging the pack. I ran a 500-watt inverter for an hour while the batteries were at 50% state of charge, and the pack throttled the draw just enough to stay within its safe limits, keeping the voltage stable and the temperature under control. For a marine application where a sudden spike could be dangerous, that built-in safety net is a tangible benefit. What about expandability? LiTime markets the ability to scale the system up to 33.79 kilowatt-hours by adding more modules. If you're the type who adds a second refrigerator, a solar charge controller, and maybe a small workshop in your RV, you can keep stacking packs without needing a whole new wiring harness. The downside is that each additional pack costs close to $1,200, so the incremental cost can add up quickly. If you're only looking for a simple replacement for 2 lead-acid batteries, buying the full 4-pack might feel like overkill. In that scenario, a single 12V 165Ah module could be sufficient, but you'd lose the convenience of a unified Bluetooth network unless you invest in a separate monitoring system. Who should definitely consider this set? If you're an avid boater who uses a trolling motor for several hours a day, or an RV enthusiast who runs air conditioning, a microwave, and a full kitchen on the road, the combination of higher usable capacity and the ability to discharge deeper without harming the cells translates into longer trips between charges. The low-temp protection also shines in colder climates. The pack won't let itself dip below the safe threshold, which is something you can't count on with older lead-acid batteries that simply lose capacity in the cold. Who might want to skip it? If your setup is modest, say a small travel trailer that only powers a few LED lights and a basic water pump, the cost per amp hour is still higher than a decent AGM or gel lead-acid alternative. In that case, the premium you pay for the lithium chemistry and Bluetooth connectivity may not be justified. Also, if you're not comfortable handling electronics and prefer a plug-and-play solution without any app configuration, the learning curve of pairing the phone, setting thresholds, and interpreting the data could feel like an unnecessary hurdle. Let's break down some practical strengths beyond the spec sheet. The real-world weight savings are noticeable. A full 4-pack comes in at around 110 pounds, compared to roughly 250 pounds for an equivalent lead-acid bank. That reduction improves fuel efficiency on a trailer and makes launching a boat easier. The charge acceptance rate is another hidden advantage. You can feed the pack with a solar array at up to 100 amps without